You better tell that bitch, Dr. Phil, I'm coming to California and making him look like a fool publicly. War is about to commence.
I was having a bad day.
What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to Grim. If you haven't seen my last video, make sure you go watch that because this is a follow-up to this guy who was on Dr. Phil 4 years ago claiming that he was about to bike across America and he was 560 pounds. That's quite the feat. Anyways, he's back on the show and we're gonna see how he's been doing. Unfortunately, he has not met his goals and in fact is much heavier than he was before. So without further ado, let's just get into it and hear what Dr. Phil has to say to this guy.
What is it that you forgive me for?
You did your best with what information you were given, but some of it was off.
Whoa, so first off, this guy, as you can see, is much bigger than he was the first time he was on the show. He was already fearing for his health at 560 pounds, claiming that he was going to bike across America, and instead he has completely given up on that and has now gained even more weight and is even more unhealthy. It's very sad to see. It's honestly heartbreaking if you ask me. It is kind of annoying that this guy has this entitlement though and acting like Dr. Phil did some wrong. He's all, hey, you did the best with what information you were given, but you know, not everything was correct. Like, no, we saw exactly through all your lies. You're the one that doesn't have the correct information or is perceiving the situation differently than everyone else. But you really just have this victim mentality and you make up so many excuses. Dr. Phil wasn't buying into it. That's all he was doing. So first things first, Dr. Phil pulls up this email that this guy sent to this super nice physical trainer that Dr. Phil hired to help this man get his weight in check. I'm sure he is very expensive if you don't have the hookup from Dr. Phil. But he messaged this guy and said this extremely angry message, basically claiming that he was going down to LA and was going to make Dr. Phil look like a fool and that, quote, war was about to commence. So obviously he was very salty at how he was perceived on the show, but my question to him is why? I mean, Dr. Phil was the only one that was pretty fair in his overview of what you were doing, and he was giving you the benefit of the doubt that you weren't exactly a scammer and instead was just someone who had a goal entirely too big and then got caught up in it and didn't know how to let people down, which is really what happened, I think. I don't believe him to be a total scammer, but this guy definitely makes up way too much excuses and is just living in this fictional world where he does not have this glaring health problem apparently, or he just doesn't know how to fix it, even though Dr. Phil gave him all the resources that he would ever need to fix it.
I'm probably the only person in America that said you were not a fraud.
At the end,
I said you weren't doing what you needed to do, but you were not a fraud.
It is really funny to me that this guy is coming onto the show again and throwing shade at Dr. Phil. What else do you want, man? He gave you so many options and so much information that you could have used to better yourself. He hooked you up with a free, pretty much lifetime membership with this amazing physical trainer that has helped many of his guests lose weight that they needed to lose. And he even hooked him up with a meal plan where they would deliver him healthy meals. All he had to do was heat them up and eat them, and he was going beyond that and still eating snacks in between, and has now gained 150 more pounds than he had before. Yo, real quick before we move on, guys, do me a big favor. My analytics show that only 39% of you watching are actually subscribed. I don't know what's up with that, but if you guys are already watching the videos every day, you might as well join the Grim Squad officially, so hit that subscribe button.
I was really ticked off at you for a long time. I'm not anymore, and I've gotten through it.
Hey, I'm a big boy. I can handle it.
I know you can.
Dr. Phil really does not care either. He's like, okay, be ticked off at me all you want. The problem here is you're not ticked off at yourself enough to get help. That's clearly what's going on. And you'll see throughout this video, this guy clearly just does not want to help himself. And there's an old saying that goes, you can't help someone that doesn't want to help themselves. And it is 100% true. This is a perfect case of that. Look, if this guy is not willing to put in the work, no one else is going to be able to force him to do that until this becomes important enough for him to do that. And with the way he makes excuses and the way he makes himself look like there is nothing to blame or nothing to pin on him when it comes to not losing this weight, he holds no responsibility for it. Therefore, he's never going to lose the weight.
I'm worried about his physical health. I'm worried about my mental health.
Right.
Honest.
And the wife claims this is taking a toll on her mental health, but I also have to look at her and think that she needs to be taking her physical health more seriously as well. Obviously, they're both very overweight, and there's no way that they have any healthy habits going on in this home, and that's why this guy is able to spiral out of control. He has no self-control himself, and then I'm sure his wife doesn't help things when it comes to having a good diet and eating, especially if she's the one going out and getting all the food for him probably, which is pretty much every time you see someone on My 600-Pound Life, that's what's going on. And it's sad to see. I wish they would just be able to wake up from this and realize how dire of a situation this is.
You set yourself up for a lot of criticism. I mean, it just seemed like you kind of had an excuse for everything.
So they pull up this list that they curated from a video that this guy posted about an update on his ride. Obviously, he did not finish riding across America because there's no way you can do that and gain 150 pounds at the same time. That's just not possible. Unless it's pure muscle because you're a beast that just freaking bike across the country. But obviously he didn't do it, and he posted an update saying the reasons why. And of course, he is just pouring out with these excuses. He thinks of them with such ease because he has always been the victim in his own story. You know, he got the cold weather, hot weather, Angie's health, his health, depression, huge pressure, inexperience, bad with money, bad planning, stayed too long, time on web, bad advice. I don't know how number 11 is an excuse, like I spent too much time on the internet, that's why I couldn't do this. Like, that makes no sense. But either way, this man is full of excuses, and it's just annoying at this point. Like, dude, you gotta get it together. You got gray hairs. That's showing to me that you're old enough to realize how dumb you're being about this whole situation.
We had a statement from your boss earlier this year. It said, I have not witnessed him trying to lose the weight. I would see him eat while he is working.
And then they even get a statement from his former boss who, again, like everyone else who knows him, says, no, he has not put any effort into losing weight. He's done quite the opposite. He was actually eating at work when he wasn't supposed to be. But moving on, they even got a statement from his personal trainer. Check this out.
I haven't received a food journal in a month from Eric. Not consistent and hard to get a hold of.
Yep. I was really bad at that.
So he brings up this quote, and then the guy gets all defensive, like, I just can't do it. I don't know where to start. I feel like I'm so worthless, and I just don't know what to do. Like, you have to be an absolute moron to not know what to do right now. Dr. Phil hooked you up with this trainer, and you just heard him complaining about how you are not in contact with him and not doing any of the required exercises or things that you need to be tracking in order to lose weight. There is no better system for you to lose weight than working with someone whose entire job is to do that for you. Like, I'm just so confused and annoyed at this guy at this point. To be honest, he is scamming me emotionally because I actually started to feel bad for him, but now there's not a single grain of me that does. Get your act together, my guy.
I don't know. I don't have the answers. I don't want to fake it and say I have the answers. It's beyond my scope.
Oh, if only Dr. Phil could get me in touch with the best physical trainer that would really be involved with me day in, day out, emailing me and texting me for months on end when I didn't respond. And if only he could also hire me probably a very expensive meal plan to where I don't have to pay for any of my food ever again and could save money and have these delicious, healthy meals prepared for me every single day that I just have to heat up in the microwave. Oh, if only. Like, someone get Mr. Krabs on the phone so we can get him to play the world's smallest violin. This man is just the creator of the worst sob stories.
I've worked with Robert Reams as a trainer personally for, I don't know, what, 15 years, 16 years, 17 years?
So now Dr. Phil's vetting this guy who was on the stream, and he is this personal trainer that he hired, who he has been working with for over a decade and a half. Clearly, this guy has a good track record and is one of the best in the biz because Dr. Phil has the money to get people in contact with people who are the best in the biz. So obviously, this guy was dedicated to helping him lose weight, and instead, this dude came on the show and was talking to producers all this trash about him, saying, oh, he didn't really care about me. He didn't want me to lose the weight. It's not even my fault. He just would never talk to me. Like, dude, we have texts showing that he was begging you to get back in contact with him for months. You're such a loser for throwing him under the bus like that. And I can't believe he's pulling this.
I really gave Eric all I had. I gave him 10 months. And it was excuse after excuse after excuse.
Imagine how frustrating it was for this guy. You don't want to let Dr. Phil down and fire one of your clients for the first time ever, but at the same time, you have this guy who is rapidly gaining more weight after he's already 560 pounds, and he doesn't talk to you ever and ignores your texts, and then throws you under the bus saying that you're a terrible physical trainer and trying to throw your whole business under. This man really is actually a scam artist in multiple ways. I'm starting to think that. I mean, just look at these texts that he's been sending to him. Called yesterday, called today, sent another email, no response. Never heard from you. Eric, I'm not hearing from you. No weigh-ins, no journals. This guy wasn't doing a single thing that was asked of him, which I guess you can expect when you find someone as lazy and full of excuses as this guy. But it's sad that he had all these resources, and I can guarantee you there are about 100,000 other morbidly obese people that would love to have his position where they were given this opportunity and this resource for free that is otherwise probably extremely expensive, including that meal plan thing. They would kill for that and they would actually make it happen, but not this guy. He's just like like throwing it away, and then coming back on the show to disrespect Dr. Phil. So this was a depressing update if you ask me, because I was really rooting for this guy, but it seems like he's content with being a loser and making an excuse as to why he's not in his own mind. And if that sounds harsh, I mean, I don't know what other options you could have been possibly given, and you just spit in the face of everything Dr. Phil gave you. Hopefully this is a lesson for you guys to not be making excuses when there is no need to be. It really does help to just be honest with yourself a lot of times. But anyways, let me know what you guys thought of this series of videos down in the comments below. Hopefully you guys were entertained. This last video did amazing, so I'm hoping this one does well. And we are so close to 500K, which is absolutely insane. So make sure if you enjoyed and you're still watching at the end here, first of all, you're a legend. Second of all, thank you for subscribing if you haven't already. Anyways, I will see you guys in the next video, and until then, peace out.